What I want to talk about today, the technique is just going to be a slip, right? My right foot's going to be out. I'm going to slip that foot back, right? As I slip that foot back, we're going to kind of work from the bottom up. We're going to start slipping the foot, slipping the core, and then with the counterattack. So if I'm out, I want my opponent to strike at my leg, right? Do the leg snipe, slip that foot back. All I'm doing is bringing my front foot even with my back. Because again, look at the space that's around me. If my opponent is just trying to maintain their space to just hit my leg, by slipping that out, my leg is not there and that space is no longer there for them, right? So from the lower ground, I want to slip my foot. You'll see some people do this when they slip. Bring it all the way back. Fine, right? To be honest with you, you don't really get any benefit by bringing your foot back this extra 2 feet because the wall of space, the gap really starts here. Because if my opponent was going for my inside leg, right, for them to hit me here, their hands are there, which means their body is there, which means I could have hit them without even moving, right? So if I want to slip that attack, I don't want to go back here because to move my leg back to counterattack, this movement is wasted space, wasted time, right? It takes too long, so I do this to counterattack. Slip to here. Because again, look at what I'm doing in the side here. I'm slipping. Is my upper body moving? Slightly, right? A little bit, just to maintain balance and a good center of gravity. But I'm bringing my foot back in. Now for this counterattack, we're also going to bring our arms up, right? So, opponent comes in, strike, slip. Now I'm almost as flat plane, almost. A little bit canted forward, but almost flat plane. So that when I go forward, I just have to fall into the attack. Right, so it's middle guard, slip, counterattack. Let's just look at the slip for a second. I'm gonna put this down. All right, so we're here. We're out, good middle guard, right foot forward, left foot back, just like our footwork drill. Pull that foot back. Back out. Pull back. We're gonna do this a few times, so do it with me. Out to guard, pull back. Forward, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Grab your saber again. If you didn't let go of it, cool. Middle guard. Pull that leg back and pull your saber back to your shoulder. Very relaxed. By the way, this is our shoulder guard that we practice, right? Do this on purpose. Nice and relaxed. All I'm doing, watch the side, is bending my elbow in. I'm not forcing myself up high. I'm not trying to squeeze it in. I'm just bending my arm back. As efficient of a move as I can, so that when I step forward, I just have to repeat that technique in reverse. Bang. 1, let's do this 5 times. Out to middle guard. Ready? Slip, tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I said 5. This is a great time for you to practice the action of throwing your blade at your cutout. We're going to do a couple throwing cuts Thursday. We're going to do a couple throwing cuts. What I mean by that is cuts that are coming out from a horizontal plane. I'm not coming down. I'm not going up. I'm coming out toward my opponent. It's not always a thrust. I can get some very nice cutting actions by pushing that and throwing that attack forward. I'm sure somebody's going to have an issue with the term throwing. Fine, message me. We'll talk about it. I don't care. So, right foot forward, left foot back. Slip. Push. When you do, make sure that front foot does not land before your blade connects with your opponent. I don't want to do this, because look what happens. I come back out of guard. If I step and then strike, I'm in guard. I'm in measure to my opponent. I'm not controlling that space, because this is a threat my opponent has to deal with. Right? I'm moving my space forward by the action of my blade. I'm moving my space forward by the action of my blade. If I step my body first, I'm not pushing my space forward. I'm letting him come into, I'm putting myself into area for attack. So I don't want to do that. Slip, right strike. So right when that blade hits and connects to my opponent is when I want my footwork to go, so I drive in my attack. So, 2 more times. Slip, out, 1 more. Slip, out. Switch our feet. So, we're teaching right hand on top, right hand forward. So right-handed grip. Left foot forward. I can be in an inside middle guard. Hands are back inside my body, right? But look at what I'm kind of restricting myself. I'm already drawing my opponent into my core this way, right? So let's be out and out, forward middle guard, so our hands are forward. Step. Notice I pull back to the side I want to attack from because I want to get that attack with my hips. 1, let's do this 5 times. 2, slip. 3, slip. 4, slip. 5, right? Can I lunge in, lean in? Absolutely, right? Again, you're managing and controlling the space, and my movements are going to be influenced by what my opponent is doing, right? Part of this is awareness. Part of this is understanding, where is my opponent? Did they come in for the attack? And are they doing this? Right? Or are they leaning in for the attack? Right? Where are they positioning themselves? Because my counterattack has to take that into account. So, all right, slipping the torso. So what we did here is we pulled our leg back, right? But we kind of kept our torso in the same plane as our lower body, right? So we kept a nice straight, we even kind of canted a little bit forward so that as we slipped, we kind of had, like if you look, I'm kind of up on the balls of my feet. I'm not on my toes, but I'm on the ball of my feet so that when I go into my counterattack, I'm already in that movement forward. Right? My momentum, my potential energy is there to go forward. So strap. But what I'm not doing is I'm not clearing my torso, right? So if my opponent's going for my leg, great. I've cleared that space. They've come through, right? Let's go up a little higher up the body. So now my opponent is attacking my torso, right? They're coming in for a striking cut, or they're coming in for a thrusting lunge, a lunge with a thrust, right? So they want to get into my space quickly forward. I want to get this so they don't care about my front leg, right? They're coming into my space here. They want to attack with a thrust, or they want to come in with a horizontal cut. What I want to do is I want to move this midsection out of the way and create that gap. The same way I voided my leg and created this space, right? I want to create that space in my midsection. We've done this in class with the void, right? If you take my yoga class before this, and you all should, if you take a yoga class before this, one of our poses is that void, and it's actually the movement of the counterattack that we're going to do. So what I want us to do, it's the same slip of the leg, right? But I'm actually going to throw my hips back so that I create a gap in my core area, right? So if I just slip the leg, right? I wish I could do this somehow. Maybe we'll try it this way, right? So coming out from the camera, right, you can see that it's a direct line. It should be at least a direct line to my core, right? I'm out in guard, so they come in for the strike, slip. That you should see that space opening up. I think I can see it as well, right? So what I want now is I want to show that the core is opening up. So as I slip, I throw my butt back, right? So this gap opens up, and hopefully, right, if I suck in my gut a little bit, right, you're going to see that gap space open up in my core. So it's here. Now, if I keep my blade in the middle of my body, it's going to be in the way, right? So I need to get my blade up out of the way. So that way I create this void. I really want to suck my opponent in. As they come in, we want that nice whooshing sound when they don't hit us. Whoosh past, or they go, oh, wait, and they want to reach in for that last little bit of thrust, which they're probably off balance for anyway. All right, long sword grab it, pull it, whack in the head. Right now. Can't do that with lightsaber. Anyway, so we're here. Void, create that gap, open that space up, right? And we're going to strike down. What I want to do is I want to do all that at once, right? So I want to bang. So let's set this up a little bit differently. Because if I'm in middle guard, let's go back to our basis of what's the highest probability attack, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. If I'm in middle guard, what's the probability my opponent's going to thrust at me without impacting my blade? Pretty minimal, right? They've got to move my blade because my blade's in the middle. Plain and simple, right? I'm not encouraging them to attack that way. Could they come around in a wide sweeping? Sure, but I'm still going to hold my blade out and strike at them. Because again, I'm controlling that space. So let's go to a different guard and encourage that thrust. So let's go to a high guard. So left foot forward, right foot back, high guard. We covered this in the guard video. If you haven't watched it, watch it. But if you haven't watched it, hips are kind of squared up. It's the only time I let you square your hips up really is in this high guard, right? Arms are up over my head. I'm not holding it like a tail. I'm not holding it out like a unicorn, right? My blade's back at a nice angle, comfortable angle. I'm looking through my arms. My arms are not in front of not peeking around it. It's not a shoulder guard, right? I'm not peeking around. It's up and nice and relaxed. This, believe it or not, is a lot more relaxed than this. This should feel very uncomfortable, right? This feels very relaxed. My arms are up. Joints are nice and open and loose. I'm not winging out to the side. I'm not leaning forward. Hopefully you can see this is a great target. Someone gives you that elbow out, take it. Here. So what I'm doing is I've created this flat plane. I'm going to try to do it in the camera. This flat plane which encourages my opponent to attack. What I want them to do is thrust or come in for an attack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same slip, but I'm going to tuck that back, butt back, create that void as I counterattack to the head. So this is what we're going to do together. So, nice void. My foot was here. I'm on a middle line here. I don't know if you can see it in the thing, but it's kind of here are the tape marks. My back foot's on the tape. My front foot's on the middle line. So it's about 2.5 foot stride. So about 2 foot stride between in the middle line here. My torso, that means, is right about 1.5 foot forward, right? Feet come back, torso comes back where it's even with the back line, at least it should be by the camera. So I've really brought my body back almost 1.5 foot from where my opponent thought it was. So again, if they're not trying to overextend their thrust or cut with the too far down their blade, they're going to try to attack you with the upper third of the blade if they're doing an attack, or they're going to try to thrust at you where it's a 3 inches of penetration, right? General rule, right? Because I want to be, again, I need to maintain my space as the attacker, so I want to get in so I can get out. So I want to poke, penetrate, and withdraw. Shut up, Nate. So, left foot forward, high guard. The thrust is going to come here. Here's my gut. So now I'm a good 12 inches away from where that thrust would be. So let's do that together. Left foot forward, high guard. Step back, just do the void, and just do the move. Look what hopefully you're going to feel this right now. You want to go forward. Your body wants to go forward. I can't fall because I'm going to fall on my face, right? But my body wants to move into my attacker. So, void. Let's do it one more time together. Void. Put your right foot forward, high guard. Void. Same thing. Open that space up. Now let's add in the counterattack. All we're doing is as we go back, our blade goes down. So left foot forward, high guard. We're here. So what I might do, pause, tangent, as always. I'm in middle guard. I want to pull my attacker in. I'm going to step back into high guard. That movement should start their energy forward. I'm controlling the pace. It's chess match, right? I want to control my opponent's actions. At least I want them to think they're doing what they want to do. Now they're doing the same thing to me, so whatever. Up into high guard. That starts them coming forward. As they do, and they take my invitation and attack, I void and strike down to the top of their head. Let's do that again. Left foot forward. I'm sorry. We're going through the whole action. Right foot forward, middle guard. Step back into high guard. Void, counterattack. 3 moves. Middle guard. Back into high guard. Void, counterattack. So really 4 discrete moves. We're doing the void and the counterattack simultaneously. I like this move. Right? If I just go across my opponent, you guys have seen me do this. I kind of enjoy doing it. It works like once, every month with the same person if I don't throw it all the time. It works every once in a while. But I just might go into high guard and wait for them to attack. When they go to attack, I strike down, void, and hit the top of the head. Again, it works for somebody that I haven't done it against. If I do it against them more than once, they're going to be like, yeah, I know what you're going to do. I'm not going to attack you the way you want. So you have to think about getting your opponent to do what you want them to do. So again, middle guard, they're not going to attack. Step back into high guard, pull them into you as they come in. Step back, make that void, counterattack to the head. Bang. Now, when I'm done, I want to step back one more step. Because again, I want it really clear, right? Let's do all three, what is that? Let's do it all to the step out at the end. Nice and slow, together. Middle guard, step back into high guard. Void back, create that gap, strike to the head, step back with left foot forward, right foot forward. One more time. Right foot forward, middle guard. High guard, strike, close, back up. One more time, then we're going to switch sides. Right foot forward, step back, void, strike, close. I'm doing it slow, we're doing it in successive movements, purposefully. I want you to learn and practice the movements so that when you're fighting with someone, you can be like, and it will just be kind of almost become one fluid set of movements for that encounter, for that exchange. Right? One more time, right foot forward, then we're going to switch to the opposite side. Right foot forward, ready? Step back into high guard. Void, counterattack. Step back, clear, step out. You can step back as many steps as you need to. You can step out to the side. Just don't leave that part out. I too often leave that part out. Don't leave that part out. Right? Switch feet. Turn this on. Why not? Left foot forward, middle guard. So again, my natural stance with middle guard, left foot forward, because my right hand is leading, I'm not extending my right hand. So here, it's a little above in front of this line, right? It's a lot in front of the line. So again, just by left foot forward, my shoulder moving back pulls my farthest forward, so it's very, very easy to just do into this guarded stance, this guarded middle stance, right? Encourage your opponent, right? You want it now. We're going to be out in forward middle guard like this, right? Step back, void, strike, close, retreat. One more time, two more times. Never trust the trainer that says one more time. Step back, strike, retreat. Again, left foot forward, forward middle guard, step back, strike, oops, sorry. Step back into high guard, strike down, void, close. See, that's what happens when you try to rush through a technique. You shortcut it. Don't shortcut it. Don't do what I just did wrong. Don't shortcut the techniques. All right, one more time. Left foot forward, middle guard. Step back into high guard. Draw that opponent in. Make that void. Counterattack to the head. Step back and close. Now, we did that with a stepping back into high guard and counterattack with a downward vertical strike to the head. Can you do that with other strikes? Absolutely, right? But you got to think about the guards you're in and what you're doing to get to your opponent. I can do that with a stop thrust, in Brocata, right? A stop where I thrust in, bang, poke them. It's almost a strike, but it's coming from a different position. So if someone is really coming in and attacking me, and maybe I am in a low guard, and I want to do that same void, I can start in rear low guard, track them in, and yes, I can do the same bang movements. I could also, if I'm in an inside middle guard and someone wants to come in, I can thrust and create that same void, right? So we've talked about, and we will talk more about primary or key cuts for a given guard, stance, invitation, kamae, posture, whatever you want to call it, right? Again, think about, what's the most efficient thing that I can do? Well, if I want to pull them in and I want to do this technique, I want to give them a target area. So I might see them kind of jumping, ready to go, right? Like you're hooking a fish and pulling, I don't fish, but right, like you're pulling a line back, right? Pull them back. Then we're going to say, ooh, ooh, they're going to fall right into the trap of bang, counterattack. Again, it'll work. Try it. Practice with it. Tell your opponent you're practicing it. Let them feel it as well. So not only do we talk about space, not only do we talk about movement, creating space and using space, we're also talking about driving intention in our opponents, right? Really kind of encouraging them to do certain movements and encouraging them to hit them where we want.